Today I'm going to talk to you about how we fail in life. And we fail by listening to advice from society, from outside of ourselves, listening to your tradition, to your mom and dad, your spouse, your next door neighbor. We listen to our favorite politicians and to the TV, I call it the TV values. We listen to the gurus and so on, and we live a life which is not our own life. We live someone else's life, someone else's idea of what we should be doing with this life of ours. We're told when you fail to listen to your own inner advice, and you exclusively only listen to what people say outside of you, your friends and whatnot. You're told which books to read and which schools to go to. You're told what to eat, how to dress. Now, in Europe, you're told how many times you should have a shower and which parts of your body you should wash. This kind of ridiculous, what should we call it, telling you what to do, how you should live your life. I mean, nowadays you are even told which gender you are. That's how ridiculous things are getting right nowadays. I know a whole bunch of people like this. They're constantly worried that they are not living up to the standards that they have been told to live up to, and the values and so on. And they go through their whole life without having one single day of their own, what they want to do. What is it that it feels right for them to do? Not one single day. They go to schools that have been already chosen for them. They then get the education, get the career that has been chosen for them. They married people that the lucky ones, that fall in love or have chosen someone. There are many people that haven't. Their parents or their mom or their dad or somehow, or this is a right, marriage for you. This person is the right person for you, and off they go, and then the kids repeat the whole process, copy and paste. So this is a real problem, and then you wonder why you're sick. You're sick because your body responds to the unlived life. Your soul says something else, your inner resources say one thing, and the society puts on you completely something different. And then you wonder why we spend so much time at the doctors and spend billions and billions of dollars on pills. Because your body is going to be telling you, if you don't listen in your dreams, and if you don't listen to advice in your intuition, your body is the next place with the symptoms, where the soul is trying to communicate to you. And if you keep ignoring that information, which most people do because they don't understand that the soul actually communicates in that way too, you're going to get sick. Cancer, I mentioned this many times before, but I think Joseph Campbell said it probably the best. He said that cancer is where the head, your rational masculine mind, takes over the territory of the heart. And by the heart, he means, your intuition, your own inner guidance. That's what we can say this with quite confidence, that's most sickness is psychosomatic. So we fail in life because we don't listen to our own inner resources. We don't pay attention to our dreams. We don't pay attention to our intuitions, and we don't certainly pay attention to synchronicities and so on. There's a wonderful story to illustrate this from Arthurian legends, and it's the story of young Parcival. Now, Parcival was a young knight, who got his instructions on being a knight into the knighthood from an older experienced knight. And the instructions were that to honor his knighthood, he must never ask too many questions. See, this is society putting its agenda on your life. And at that time, the greatest quest that there was the quest for the Grail, for the Holy Grail. And so Parcival took up the quest as well. So there he is. One day he found himself in the dark forest. He found his way to the castle. And there in the castle, he's entertained by the people from that castle. He's sitting in a great hall. He's sitting next to the king, the Grail king, the Fisher King. And he sees that the old man is greatly wounded. He's wounded in the groin in such a way that he cannot stand, he cannot sit, or he cannot walk. He's an invalid, in other words. And he feels in his own heart that he should ask the old man if he's, at least if he's all right. But he's being a knight doesn't allow him to do that. He remembers a knight never asks too many questions. So the party goes on. They go to sleep. Parcival wakes up in the morning, and he finds himself completely alone. The castle is deserted. He sees his horse in the courtyard. Next to the horse is his javelin, his shield. He mounts the horse. He leaves the castle, and at that moment when he's just leaving the drawbridge, a great voice behind him shouts, "Go on, you goose, leave." And in that moment he realized he failed, but he doesn't understand why he failed. So he goes through many years of contemplating his failure. He does many great deeds to redeem himself, but nothing seems to help. He always has this in the back of the mind, what did I do wrong? Why did I fail? And one day, he's back again in the forest. Meantime, he's always looking to go back to the Grail. He's always looking for the castle to fix his mistake. So one day he finds himself again in the forest. This time, he lets go the reins of his horse. So the horse leads him by itself, and he recovers the way to the castle. Now the horse, I'll tell you a little bit about the symbology of the horse. The horse is your nature's instinct, your natural instinct. In many fairy tales there are helpful animals, and especially dogs, because a dog has a nose that knows. A dog is able to follow a scent, an invisible scent, back to the source. This is your intuition. This is the helpful animal is your intuition, because it doesn't do as society tells it to do. It follows its own instinctive way. It's in tune to nature. So Parcival makes it back to the castle. He makes it back to the castle. He's again sitting at the great hall next to the Fisher King. And this time he's overwhelmed with the feeling for the old man, and he's suffering. And he says, "What ails you, father?" In that moment, the hole changes. There's a door at the back of the hole that just swings open, and there's a beautiful woman dressed in white flowing clothes, holding the Grail, is at the head of a procession, and she walks in with the Grail, and the Parcival becomes the new Grail keeper. He has won his life's purpose. He has won the Grail. Now, why did he won? Why did he not fail like he did the last time? When he failed to ask the question. He did it because he trusted his own inner feelings, his own intuition, instead of the values that were put on him by society. Instead of valuing only being the great knight, not asking too many questions, or that's going to damage his knighthood. He listened to his heart. He is listened to his intuition, and that's how, when in that moment, he won the Grail. And the Grail keeper, the woman that brings the Grail with her to Parcival, to the new keeper of the Grail, is the feminine. See? Because the Grail is a cup. It's a cup filled with, you could say, water of life, or ambrosia. This is your energy. You win back the energy, your psychic energy. Your libido flows, instead of flowing out to society and doing what you're told to do, controlling your whole life, being miserable in doing things that you try to make other people happy instead of keeping yourself happy. You are now trusting the inward resources of what is communicated to you directly from the Grail, from your own intuition. Now, why is the Grail or intuition a cup? Because cup has both an inside and an outside. It has, you look inside the cup, and it has walls and outside of the cup. So it is your means of bridging or uniting the two realities, the spirit world and the outside world. And that's your intuition, because it sits between these two centers, between thinking and feeling, between outside and inside. Do you see what I mean? And it's and you could compare it to, let's say, North mythology. Odin in North mythology, he's got one eye closed, one eye open. He's looking out and he's looking in. Do you see? That's your intuition. You're looking outside, but you're paying attention to what is communicated to you within. This is being in balance. This is being whole. Now, there's not, there's a lot of this discussion about union of the opposites. There is no opposites. It's always linked. It's always one. It's only our perception, it's only our masculine mind, our intellect, that divides this into duality, the inner and the outer. There's no inner and the outer as such. They're always together. But because our mind divides things, we only see outside. It creates this duality. So if you're stuck in the irrational mind, in the masculine mind, collecting facts and reading the right books and listening to the right gurus, you're always only in the intellect, in the masculine mind. But the feminine is different. The intuition is different. It sees it's seamlessly whole. There's no differentiation. There's no difference between the two. They're both one. But for the sake of stories, and for the sake of symbols and so on, and for the sake of the story, for the sake of me telling you how this works, the language creates these divisions. That there is the outer and the inner. We don't really have a word which is just one seamless whole. The invisible and the visible. The best way I can describe it is intuition, because intuition lives in both. And another such symbol of this Holy Grail, the cup that is both, the intuition, for instance, could be the Roman god Janus. And Janus was a god that used to be placed in the in the ancient Roman times at thresholds, at doorways. So door is another such a symbol, looking both ways, looking inward and outward. So that's that's when we begin to have our own life. You listen to your own inner resources. You no longer just pay attention to what you're told. There will be a lot of pressure for you to conform. There will be a lot of pressure from your family, especially from your family, because because they are also stuck in this labyrinth of society and its TV values, its traditions, its politics, its projections of looking for the center. Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. That's what the Grail is. Finding your center and then, being, not doing, but being, just spontaneously flowing from that center. And that's what Parcival did. First time he failed because he did what he was told by society, like most of us. I did that as well. for many years, and sometimes I still do too. I catch myself. I have to just walk away and listen to my own inner voice. And many of us are like that, and many of us are so stuck that eventually we get sick, because the soul has no other way to communicate that you should be listening to what it communicates to you rather than what is communicated to you, especially now from TV. There's so much propaganda, there's so much hate coming out from our TV towards people on our planet that it's really not funny. And people buy this, hook, line and sinker. So this is what I wanted to communicate to you today, that if you do want to have your own life, this is your life's destiny, to find the grail, like Parcival's. This is our life's destiny from the very beginning. There's no other life destiny, to be honest. To find the center and live from that center spontaneously. So that means paying to your dreams, paying attention to your dreams, paying attention to your intuition, synchronicities, writing poetry, dancing, painting, drawing, any way any kind of skills that you have that you can create a communication between you and the soul and the spirit. So that's what I wanted to communicate to you today, and I hope that that was helpful to you in some way, and I'll see you on the next one.